Good happy Friday evening, March 26th, 2021. And welcome to this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Network Investigates. Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Friday evening edition of the Riley King Network Investigates. Let's begin tonight's edition right now. Tonight on the Riley King Network Investigates. Mom fights to bring pregnant daughter's killer to justice 8 years after she disappeared. Kelsey Sherling was 8 weeks pregnant when she vanished. It's been over 8 years since Laura Sexton's 21-year-old pregnant daughter Kelsey Sherling vanished. Sexton still doesn't have all the answers she's searched tirelessly for. From the moment she realized Sherling was missing, Sexton led the fight to find her daughter. She questioned her daughter's boyfriend on the phone herself, organized community searches as case went cold, and followed up on leads through the Help Find Kelsey Facebook page, including one that claimed the young, expectant mother was still alive. When the time came, Sexton even took the stand against her daughter's killer, though he has been sentenced to life behind bars for her murder. The exact location of Sherling's remains have not been revealed, and Sexton still hasn't been able to lay her to rest. Sherling and her boyfriend met at Northeastern Junior College in 2010. They dated on and off while there, and after 2 years, they both decided to leave the school. During the holiday season of 2012, Sherling surprised her family with news that she was pregnant. Sherling's friends said they remember her relationship with her boyfriend was often tumultuous, with the two constantly fighting and making up. Then unthinkably happened. On February 3rd, 2013, text message records show her boyfriend had tried to convince Sherling to drive from Denver to his hometown of Colorado to receive a surprise gift. Sherling left work shortly after 8:40 p.m. and drove 2 hours to see her boyfriend in Colorado. Text messages show he first introduced her to go to a specific Walmart on the south side of town. Then at 11:10 p.m., he told her to go to another location near his grandmother's house. Her last confirmed text message was sent to him at 11:18 p.m. It said, "Where are you? I've been here over an hour just waiting." Sherling didn't show up to work on February 5th, and a worried coworker tried calling her. The coworker received a text message, supposedly from Sherling, saying she wasn't having the baby anymore because it was growing in the wrong place. The next day, Sherling's father tried to get in touch with her and received a strange text waving him off. By February 7th, Sexton and her calls to Sherling were going directly to voicemail. In the following days, her parents and friends said Sherling's texts continued to contain uncharacteristic punctuations and curt responses. They began to suspect the text messages weren't coming from Sherling at all. 4 days passed after Sherling drove to Colorado, on the night of February 4th. That Saturday morning, Sexton said her whole world just unrevealed. Sexton called the boyfriend asking if he knew anything about her daughter's disappearance. Sexton said she asked him to track the number and that he said he would, but of course he never did, Sexton said. When police questioned him, he told them that the morning after they met, he took Shirling to the Parkview Medical Center and hinted she had a miscarriage there. The Parkview Medical Center, however, did not have any records of Shirling's supposed visit. Moreover, only a day earlier in Denver, Shirling's doctor had told her that the baby was healthy. Her boyfriend also told police that he and Shirling went to the Walmart to get snacks before she made the drive back to Denver. But surveillance video showed an entirely different story. On February 5th, her boyfriend said the two of them were together, but video from the Walmart cameras show only one person, who police believe was her boyfriend, getting out of the car. 18 hours later, an unknown man is seen getting in the car and driving away. Police could not definitely say he was the boyfriend. Shirling's car was discovered more than a week after her disappearance without a trace of a young, expecting mom. Suspecting foul play, police accelerated the investigation. Police found surveillance video showing the boyfriend driving her car at an ATM 12 hours after Shirling arrived in Colorado. They found out that he withdrew $400 from her bank account. Her boyfriend was arrested on February 15, 2013 for felony identity theft for using Shirling's debit card. Those charges were later dropped when investigators found out that she would sometime give him permission to use her bank card, and he was released. Sexton rallied the Pueblo community in Denver and led her own searches for her missing daughter around the city. She regularly made the 220-mile drive from her home in rural Yuma, Colorado, to Pueblo. They never found anything on those searches. Months turned to years without answers. No one had been charged 2 years after Shirling disappeared, and because authorities had not found a body, it was still classified as a missing person case. Shirling's family offered $50,000 for information about her disappearance and set up a Facebook page called Help Find Kelsey. Then, in October of 2015, Sexton had a new possible lead. She received a Facebook message from a person who claimed to be a woman who wanted to remain anonymous and claimed to have information about Shirling's disappearance. She claimed Shirling was alive. Sexton said the message told her that the boyfriend had sold her daughter into sex trafficking. The message claimed they needed $50,000 in cash to help Shirling escape. They interacted. Sexton instructed Sexton to bring the money to a specific McDonald's restaurant in Vancouver, Washington, and to hand deliver it to a person named Marcus, who would be wearing a red hat. Strongly enough, around the same time, the family of another missing woman, 1,200 miles away in Portsmouth, Ohio, had been receiving similar messages. Their daughter, Megan Lancaster, then 25, had disappeared just months after Shirling. Her family also received a message from someone who claimed to know where Lancaster was. They asked the family to deliver $50,000 in cash to the same McDonald's in Vancouver. where a man named Marcus wearing a red hat would be waiting. Sexton never met with Marcus at the McDonald's after Vancouver police backed out of their involvement, believing it to be a scam. However, Megan Lancaster's sister-in-law did make her meeting. The person sending the message say, "I know where Megan is and I can get her back," her sister-in-law said and told 2020, "What if he really does have her and I can bring her home?" The man claimed he was lured online into supposed jewelry venture and that he was told to pick up the money and wire it to someone he'd never met. Former FBI agent told ABC News contributor that Marcus' story aligns with how many other scams work. Emails and Messenger had sent provided to be unaccounted and untraceable, and an FBI analyst of their Facebook page revealed they used an IP address in Russia. Laura, a young single mother who didn't know Kelsey Sherling or her family, was so moved by Sherling's story that she decided she would try to get information on Sherling on her own. On her intervention from her boyfriend. She messaged her boyfriend on Facebook saying she was new to Pablo area and that she was looking to meet new people. Over the course of the following weeks, she became close with the boyfriend and had the opportunity to speak with him about Sherling's disappearance. Then she said something unexpected happened when the boyfriend, her undercover relationship with him blossomed into romance. She said they dated for a year when on his porch he started hyperventilating and crying. Then he proposed to her. She said she had to think about it and drove home. She said she never fell in love with him and never saw him again, only reaching out to him to tell him she was ending their relationship. They quickly learned about the boyfriend's relationship with her and a crucial bit of information that he had revealed to her. She said the boyfriend had lied to police when he claimed that he was with Sherling in her car after the evening of February 4th, 2013. He had moved her car himself, she said. In late 2017, there was another huge development. A man in Pablo reported that the boyfriend and his family members had attacked him in front of the family's home and stole $1,000 from him. Weeks passed until police learned they needed to move quickly to catch him. Police decided then that they would write an arrest warrant for robbery to catch him before he left town. While in custody, he admitted to police that he picked up Sherling's car and dropped it off at the hospital. Authorities reviewed that admission along with text message records, surveillance video of and 60,000 pages of investigative material to determine whether there was enough evidence to prosecute him. On December 1st, 2017, 2 weeks after his arrest for the robbery, he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. It was years before it went to trial for Sherling's murder. His trial began February 3rd, 2021. The prosecution argued that he didn't want his pregnant girlfriend to have their unborn baby, so he plotted to kill her before it could happen. One of the crucial pieces of evidence was his text messages, which the prosecution argued showed his intent and plan to lure her to Pablo. The prosecution also used surveillance video of him alone at the Walmart and cell phone data showing his location, indicating he had been driving in Sherling's car after she vanished. The defense argued it was a missing persons case without a crime scene, murder weapon, or body. How could the jury be convinced this was murder and that he was responsible? Sexton was the first witness to testify. She gave an emotional and powerful testimony, emphasizing to the jury her daughter, Kelsey, really wanted to have her child. Another person, a former Pablo County jail inmate and friend of him, also testified. The so-called jailhouse snitched are often considered not to be credible, as jurors often ask what the witness may have received in return for testimony. However, McCarthy said there was no deals made about charges he would get to plead to time he get to serve. There was no deals like that. He said that he once told him while they were about to play a game of cards that investigators would never find Sherling's body. He said he confessed to the killing. Some of Sherling's close friends also testified that he was abusive. Prosecutors also argued that he consistently used Sherling for money, her apartment in Denver, and her car, claims the defense didn't deny. The defense pushed a narrative that Sherling was addicted to drugs. They allegedly that when she left him at the Walmart, she was going to meet up with a drug dealer. On February 25th, 2021, 31-year-old Roxanne was preparing the testimony for the prosecution when she was shot and killed. Although some initially believed it seemed suspicious that she died just days before her testimony, investigators determined the shooting was completely unrelated to the trial. That man then turned himself in for a crime and has not yet entered a plea. No one but the investigators knew what was happening in the planning to say in her testimony. Another person, the lead prosecutor in Sherling's case, confirmed that investigators interviewed Martinez but could not commit on anything that wasn't admitted in trial. Yet there was still someone else who said he had confessed virtual information. Lauren. She testified that he had admitted to her that he was the mysterious figure seen picking up Sherling's car after it sat overnight at a Walmart parking lot, and that he had also dropped the car off at the hospital. Then prosecutors played him interrogation type for a jury. After 13 days of trial, the defense surprised many when they announced they would not call any witness and immediately restated their case. It was now up to the jury to make the decision. The jury reached a unanimous decision on their first vote. A juror later revealed that the man was found guilty on first-degree murder in connection to the death or disappearance of Sherling. He was sentenced immediately after the verdict by the judge to life in prison without parole. Though Sherling's family got the verdict they wanted, they were still unable to bring her home to a proper burial. During the trial, investigators had revealed troubling information about Sherling's possible whereabouts. Police said that his cell phone data shows he could have been at a landfill that night, though they have strong suspicions that Kelsey Sherling is, authorities say, it would be the next impossible to conduct a Semitic search of a landfill for her remains. Sexton said, "The thought of her daughter's body being left there is just the worst possibility to me, because he discarded her like garbage. I mean, who wants that for their child to be the final resting place? No one." Kelsey Sherling would have turned 30 this year, her mother said. She wonders what would have become of her life. She said she feels some relief that he won't be out on the streets to manipulate any more women. Sexton hopes that people remember Kelsey Sherling as a little girl with a really big heart, a really big smile, a really big laugh, beautiful eyes, and a lover of animals, lover of children. Silly. She was so silly. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Network Investigates. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Friday evening. Have a wonderful weekend. See you back here next time for another edition of the Riley King Network Investigates. Good night and goodbye.